Hello folks, my name's David Edgar, I'm the host of Heart and Hand, the Rangers podcast, and I'm joining you tonight after Rangers went down 1-0 to Sparta Prague away in the second group night of the Europa League group stage, and it was a bad night on and off the pitch. Glenn Kamara ended up being sent off, but not before he was racially abused by the 10,000 school kids who were in the stadium tonight, and in some ways there's something even worse because kids aren't born racist, they learn it, and I'm sure those kids when they first heard they were going to the game didn't think, great, I'll get to boo Glenn Kamara every time he touches the ball. That's what happens though, and I'm sitting here just feeling so bad for him, and I know that nothing will happen, and I'm sure he knows nothing will happen. UEFA won't punish them, and let's not forget those kids were in there because they had a stadium closure for racist abuse, but UEFA will turn a blind eye to it. His sending off was ludicrous, incidentally. First one was a booking, second one wasn't, and you won't convince me that the referee didn't bow down to the tiny racists. As for Rangers' performance, it just wasn't good enough. It really wasn't. Manager sprung some changes, maybe some forced, some surprise. Calvin Bassey had to play centre-half next to Leon Balogun. As we know, Connor Goldson didn't travel. And up front, there was no Alfie. He was left on the bench alongside John Lundstrom, who gave up his place to the returning Stephen Davis. The first 20 minutes were actually decent. Rangers were playing some decent stuff without really creating any golden opportunities, but the first goal, when it came from Rangers poor defending at a set piece. The ball was delivered in at pace, up went the defender for a near post flick. He got it looked back, came off the post and went in. The age-old debate about do you put men on the post. Those of you who watch these videos regularly will know that I am a committed man-on-post guy, but in the modern game, most managers seem to not want it. They want an extra player out there, whether it be to attack or to counter. I don't know. But from there, I can't say that Rangers were unlucky, or we had a lot of the ball, but we didn't do anything with it. We didn't force our keeper into near enough saves, whereas every time they came forward, they seemed to pass up a sitter. Calvin Bassey is not a centre-half, we know that. I've mentioned on here before that I've got concerns about the timing of his jumps. He tends to be coming down as the ball arrives, and quite often the ball will come off the top of his head and go backwards. And tonight, positionally, everything, he wasn't anywhere near the level that you would need, and they took advantage of that. I don't think anybody else in the defence helped him right enough, with the exception of the goalkeeper Alan McGregor, who was excellent and had to be, and kept the score down, as did some really bad finishing by the Czechs. This is every game now. I mean, we're sitting here and we're saying, this was good and that was good and this was bad. But the fact is, Rangers are not playing well. Rangers haven't played well this season, and we're now very close to getting into October. They seem to be all out of form collectively. There's a massive drop-off from last season, as we know, but there's also just little things like they're not winning second ball, they're not organised, they're not passing with the same verve. It just seems to be a team that's hungover from last season, and I think you accept that for a while, but you don't accept it the longer the season goes. It's a hell of a tough challenge for the manager, because players don't go out there and try to be bad. Players don't go out there and think, I'll half-arse it. But every single game, Rangers domestically have been getting by, with the exception of the Old Firm game. And you can get by in Scotland. You'll occasionally get your pocket picked. Motherwell at home a few weeks ago. But generally speaking, this Rangers team is good enough to get by in the Scottish League. But then you go into this level, you don't get by. Teams will not allow it. And this is age old. We saw it back in the era of this top. We saw that was the case. So a big game on Sunday. 3 points is a must. And to be honest, it is by hook or by crook, because I don't think you can just suddenly flick a switch and the performance will be there and be much better. I don't believe that happens. We then have the international break to reset. But we said this the last time we were going into an international break, and it didn't happen. But something, whatever it is that's amiss with all of them collectively, has to get better. Andy McGowan, our podder, said when you're in hell you keep walking, and that's what they've got to do. They've just got to work that bit harder in training, that bit harder on the pitch, do the simple things well, go back to basics until it comes. But yeah, Sunday's all about the 3 points. It's vital. We've got to get them to go into this international week on a high, and more importantly to give ourselves the best possible platform for when we come back. But performances have got to improve. Thanks for listening to me. I'll be back on Sunday. Until then, have a good weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.